Hi, this is a video that's going to talk about quadratic equations and quadratic functions. It's one of many videos for a unit that we are studying. In this session, we're going to learn about completing the square. Completing the square is just a method for solving quadratic equations. We're going to look at 3 examples in which we're not actually completing the square, we're just solving by square rooting, and that's sort of the end goal when you complete a square. So let's start with our 3 examples. Our first example here, we just are trying to find x. And again, we learned that in order to find x, you're going to have to square root both sides. So you're going to get x minus 3 equals, and it's going to be a plus or minus square root of 7. Then we'll just add our 3, and x will equal a positive 3 plus or minus the square root of 7. Same thing here when we have a quantity that's squared, we can square root both sides. So you get 2x minus 3 equals plus or minus the square root of 7 again. This time when we add our 3, we have 2x equals 3 plus or minus the square root of 7. And our last step here is we have to divide by 2. So you'll have 3 plus or minus the square root of 7, that entire quantity divided by 2. In our third example, again, we square root both sides first. So you will get x plus 5 equals plus or minus. And again, we know that if you have a negative value, you're going to pop an I out, and we know the square root of 4 is 2, so this will be plus or minus 2i. Then we will subtract 5 from both sides, so we're going to get negative 5 plus or minus 2i. So we know how to solve quantities that have squares in them. And so that's the idea with completing a square. We would like to get some quantities that are squared so then we can just square root both sides. And so that makes solving or giving us another method to solving quadratics. So let's look at an example. We have 2 examples here, and again, we know they're quadratics because they have an x squared. And what we do when we want to solve by completing the square is we really want to have something that is factorable into 2 quantities that are the same. And currently this first one is not factorable. So what we're going to do is I'm actually going to put these 2 terms, the a term and the b term, on one side. I'm going to add the 3 to the other. And what completing the square says first is you need to make sure that this first coefficient is 1. This first coefficient should be 1. And again, we just got the a term and the b term on one side. Next, what we're going to do, and this is a completing the square piece, and maybe I'll show you a visual in a little bit, but we need to make this factorable. And the way that we make it factorable is we're going to actually add something to both sides. What we're going to add is we're going to add to both sides the same thing to keep it equivalent, but we're going to add the b term, in this case negative 6, divided by 2 squared to both sides. And, oops, this is a 6, negative 6 divided by 2 squared to both sides. What that really means is I now have x squared minus 6x plus, this is negative 3 squared, plus 9 to both sides. And what we've noticed is now we have something that is factorable. We've completed what we've said to be a square. That's kind of that process from number 2 to number 3. And now what we see is we have something that is factorable, and x minus 3 and x minus 3. And if I add 3 and 9 together, I get 12. X minus 3 and x minus 3 is actually x minus 3 squared equals 12. And now we see it looks like just the same things we were doing on these problems for solving. We first square root both sides, and then we can, in this case, add 3. So x will equal a positive 3 plus or minus the square root of 12. We've learned in our previous studies that we can reduce or rewrite the square root of 12 as 2 square roots of 3. And so completing the square allows us to find this answer by making a factorable piece right here. So by adding this extra number, we say kind of completing the square, we now have something that is factorable, and because it's factorable of the same pieces, it's a square. We're going to walk through another example over here, so I'm going to clear this out for just a minute, and then we'll go through that problem. Now let's look at our second example over here. Now the first thing you should notice about this one again is it's not factorable. There's nothing that I can factor out. The other thing I should notice is in example 1, your a value is 1, and in example 2, your a value is 2. And so that's kind of the first thing that you want to deal with is make sure this a value is 1. So what we're going to do first is we're going to divide everything by 2. So we're going to get an x squared, divide this by 2, plus an x, and we're going to divide the 5 by 2, so I'm going to leave it as a fraction. So that's now it looks like number 1. The next thing that we did when we did our example number 1 is we left the a and the b term on the same side, and in this case we will subtract the 5 over 2 to the right. Okay, so now that we have that, now we're going to actually complete the square. What that means again is when you're looking at this, you're trying to make this side factorable. And so we have to add something to both sides to make it factorable into two quantities that are the same. And so again, the way that we do that is we take our b term, which is 1 in this case, and we divide it in half and square it. So then we have to add to make sure we keep our equation equivalent. We have to add that same value to the other side. So now what we have is we have x squared plus x plus 1/4 equals negative 5 over 2 plus 1/4. This is actually factorable, and people say, how is that factorable? Well, what happens is if you multiply half times a half, you get a fourth. If you add a half and a half, you get 1. So this actually becomes x plus a half times x plus a half. And again, you can combine these two together, maybe make your common denominator, but you end up getting negative 9/4, 10/4 plus 1. And now I have x plus 1/2 squared. I've completed a square equals negative 9/4. I'm going to square root both sides. So I'm going to do that over here. And I will have x plus 1/2 equals plus or minus the square root, as a minus sign, of negative 9/4. Notice I'm not writing that as a decimal because then what I can do is x, I have plus or minus. The square root of negative 9 would be a 3i. The square root of 4 would be a 2. And then my last step is to get x by itself, subtract a half. So I have negative 1/2 plus or minus 3i over the square root, or 3i over just plain 2. So completing the square, again, just kind of reiterating the steps, you want your a value to be 1. If it's not 1, divide it out. Then the next piece of that is to get that c term on the other side. Just have the a term and the b term, c term on the other side. And this is your step for completing the square. And that is, again, your b value, your b coefficient, divided by 2 squared. So in this case, it was 1 divided by 2, and over here it happened to be negative 6 divided by 2. After you get that separated, then you just are able to factor. You have a quantity that's squared, so then you can square root, and then it's just a matter of adding or subtracting. Hi, so here are the steps again in case you needed them written out. Again, if a is not 1, then divide everything by a to get a to be 1. Put the a and the b terms on one side and that constant or that c term on the other. Then to complete your square, you're just going to add, doesn't really matter if it's opposite, but it's just going to add b divided by 2 squared to both sides. Then you should get something that's factorable. So you'll have a factor that is actually a square of a binomial, a quantity squared, and then you'll square root both sides and completely solve using addition, subtraction, division, whatever is possible. So that's how you complete the square. We're going to practice a few more in class, but again, I wanted to add this as a method to your database of how to solve quadratics. Remember that the quadratic formula always works. It's just not the most efficient way in some cases. Thank you.